Dear veterinarians, friends, welcome to youtube.com Dr. Vet channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor Head, Veterinary Medicine. We have already presented pneumonia in domestic animal part 1. Here we will see pneumonia in domestic animal part 2. In this lecture, we will see various predisposing factors, pathophysiology of pneumonia, and clinical findings of various pneumonia such as viral pneumonia, bacterial pneumonia, aspiration pneumonia, parasitic pneumonia, etc. Listen here, we have seen the etiology. Etiology comes next. First, the predisposing factors are very much important because in the environment causes are there, but it may not produce diseases. But predisposing factors make the animal more predisposing or susceptible, or they are inviting the etiology to produce a disease. The various factors are sudden change of environment from hot to cold, from cold to excessive rain, excessive drought. So sudden change of environment brings the stress on the respiratory system, especially cold weather during winter gives more stress on the respiratory system, especially lungs. Damp weather during monsoon, also there are chances of pneumonia. Poor ventilation in animal house also causes stress on the lungs. And when poor ventilation, there is more carbon dioxide in the environment. At the same time, when there is poor ventilation in the house, there is smell of urine and dung, another unhygienic smell also. When there is poor ventilation, there are more breeding of mosquitoes, flies, and other parasites. Also makes the animal more predisposing for the pneumonia. Long distance and long time transports is a real stress. When there is long time and long distance, there is something unusual happen which animal dislikes. So there is stress. At the same time, during stress, there is irregularity of giving water and food. Plus, in the wagon or in the bogie or in the truck, there is unhygienic conditions of urine, lungs, and other things. So this brings stress on the animal and various other stress factors. There is overexertion, starvation for a long time, malnutrition, deficiency of energy, deficiency of protein, deficiency of vitamins and minerals. One way or the other way, there is stress on the respiratory system and overall body also. Chronic diseases, not only in the respiratory system but in the body, other than the lungs, also brings a stress and may cause the disease of the lungs. The inhalation of dust and various irritant gases or unhygienic, unpleasant gases, eh, that also causes stress on the lungs and causes the pneumonia. Here we will discuss pathophysiology. Pathological reasons, and the main important reasons is inflammation, edema, necrosis, and exudation. Lungs contain air spaces. This inflammation, edema, necrosis, and exudation occupy the space, they fill the space, and that is interference with the gaseous exchanges between alveolar air and blood. The result is there is retention of carbon dioxide in blood that results respiratory acidosis. that is hypercapnia. Important thing is hypoxia or anoxia. Less oxygen in blood, so naturally less oxygen in the body also. When there is severe anoxia, there is death of animal. And because of this consolidation, reduction in air spaces occupied by inflammatory cells, inflammation of the cells, inflammation of the other parts, that causes a severe dyspnea. So here hypoxia, anoxia and hypercapnia is important pathophysiology. When there is increased carbon dioxide in the blood, carbon dioxide acts as a respiratory stimulant, and initially there is rapid shallow respiration. One because of carbon dioxide, another because of the consolidation, because of the less air spaces. In later stage, there is dyspnea and a labored respiration, and that is due to the quantity of consolidation of alveoli, whether few alveoli are consolidated, with a lobe or lobular consolidation, depends. Now we'll see the clinical findings of various types of the pneumonia. First, clinical findings of the viral pneumonia. Cough. Cough is very hacking. The short, frequent cough, and the cough is very painful because initially virus direct attack on the alveoli, and the cough is dry and unproductive. Later on, when there is bacterial infection, secondary bacterial infection, the cough become a moist. But initially, there is hacking, dry, unproductive cough, and which is very painful. Nasal discharge, initially watery, serous, later mixture of mucus and purulent, mucoid. Finally, because of the bacterial infection, the nasal discharge is purulent. Respiration is rapid shallow, polypnea. The viral infection as well as bacterial infection both causes high temperature. There is partial anorexia or complete anorexia. Auscultation is important for the diagnosis. There is increased vesicular breath sound, characteristic of the viral disease. Increased bronchial tone, that is because of the inflammation. So based on this auscultation, clinician provide the diagnosis. In viral diseases, there is neutropenia and lymphocytosis, very characteristic. But later on, after a few days, when there is secondary bacterial infection, then there will be neutrophilia. Now, clinical findings of bacterial pneumonia. The cough is moist, productive, paroxysmal. That means a frequent violent cough. All of a sudden the cough starts and frequently it is coming up and it is very violent and painful also. Sometimes cough is so violent and frequent that there is exhaustion. Nasal discharge as usually initially watery serous, later become mucoid, then become mucopurulent, and finally a purulent pus-like due to bacterial infection. Respiration is rapid shallow polypnea, initially and later there will be dyspnea. Temperature is high, inappetence to anorexia. When there is bacterial disease, mostly it is accompanied by a serious condition, toxemia. We will continue this bacterial pneumonia in the next slide. The animal remains standing with abducted elbow. This suggests there is pain in the thorax because of the pneumonia. Animal remains standing. Animal has no tendency to lie down and reluctant to move also. The abducted elbow because there is pain in the chest. So this is often this symptom is observed that animal remains standing with abducted elbow. This is also with the other most of the pneumonia also. There is gradual emaciation, the typical posture I have told you, tendency to lie down. If animal remain lie down, if it is standing, remain standing. Because while standing and lying down, the animal feel pain, reluctance to move, stand with abducted elbow, and when there is dyspnea, difficult respiration, there is extension of head and neck, so that animal takes the respiration very easily. If there is more pain in the chest, on palpation, animal shows pain on the thorax region. On percussion, because of the consolidation, there is dull sound. On auscultation, initially vesicular brace sound is heard. Later there will be rales that suggest bronchopneumonia and pleuritic fluid, especially if there is pleuration. What is rales? Rales is nothing but when the air moves through these tubes, the respiratory systems are nothing but the tube. When air moves through tube, both inspiration and expiration, it causes a blowing sound. But when this tube becomes narrow, either due to inflammation or due to secretion of fluid, transudation or exudation, there is interference with the flow of the air. And when air moves from one side to the other side, it sets the fluid also in motion. And due to the motion of this fluid along with air, produces sound that is called as rale. That is the characteristic of this bacterial pneumonia. And in bacterial pneumonia, the characteristic finding is the neutrophilia. Coming to the clinical findings of parasitic pneumonia, the cough is chronic and paroxysmal. It is frequent and violent. Many times it causes exhaustion to the animals also. On examination of the mucus that is coming from the cough, that may contain parasite, mostly always contain parasite. This is a diagnostic importance. Temperature is nearly normal. There is great dyspnea and there is severe cough also. Why there is cough? When there is movement of parasites in the respiratory tract, it causes little bit irritation, and this irritation leads to dyspnea and cough. Signs of other parasite infection, that as usual gradual emaciation, anemia, diarrhea, submaxillary edema. Because the parasites are elsewhere in the body, at some other places. They produce disease. But there is larva stage, and that larva stage migrate, and some of the larvae migrate through respiration, and they produce this parasitic pneumonia. But along with parasitic pneumonia, there are other parasitic signs also. On auscultation, there is moist rinse. Clinical findings of mycotic pneumonia or fungal pneumonia. These fungi produce granulomatous chronic infection. Sometimes they produce a fibrous growth or tubercle-like growth, just like tuberculosis. Most of the sign of tuberculosis and this fungal pneumonia is one and the same. It produces a chronic moist cough, purulent nasal discharge, dyspnea. As this is a chronic disease, there is emaciation and anemia. Temperature is usually high. Clinical signs of aspiration pneumonia. This is a bit easy to diagnose because there is history of aspiration from the owner. Temperature is high. There is severe moist coughing. Mucus may contain aspirated material if it is carefully examined. Nasal discharge, mucopurulent, and may contain aspirated material. There is fetid or bad odor from the breath. Because of the pain in the chest, the animal remains standing with abducted elbow. There is emaciation, anorexia. On auscultation, there is moist trail, clear-cut suggestion of there is fluid in the lung. If the cases are less severe, there are chances of cure. But in severe cases, there is mostly always death because this material entered into the lung, aspirated into the lungs. This video to many veterinarians. If you like, press like button, and to sustain and to support this channel, please subscribe this channel. Thank you very much for observing this video. But don't forget to share this video to the other veterinarians.